call the meeting to order. Good evening. This is the Newark City School District Board of Education regular meeting being held at Roosevelt Administrative Center at 6:30 p.m. on Monday, March 14, 2016. Jeff, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Blowers?
Here.
Mr. Carr?
Here.
Ms. Nickum?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Here.
Mr. Blind?
Here.
We have a quorum of 5.
Okay, Mr. Carr will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Spellman, would you join us, please? In years past, it's been fairly common that during a time of war, some young people will leave high school, go off to serve our country. A lot of times when these people come back home, life sort of takes charge and they never do get back to high school. The last several years, there's been a program in place where these folks can apply and get credit for their service to our country, for their life challenges, their life practices. And with us, we have Mr. Jimmy Earl Spellman, who is, I believe, a Korean veteran, correct? Was it a war or was it a police action?
Conflict.
It was a war. It was a war. You were dodging bullets. It was a war. I don't care what they call it. So anyway, I will ask Superintendent Ute to read the document he's got and present it.
And so,
There's that. I'm not sure it's turned on. Nobody wanted to hear me?
Yeah, so Jimmy, we have a diploma here for you, and we want to thank you for your years of service to the military. And so, congratulations, and it's our honor, the Newark City Schools, to present you with this high school diploma. Thank you. Can we get Mrs. Go ahead and
No.
come forward here and
Get a picture with me. Get in there.
would you like me to take one in the front for you?
We're going to gang up on you here. We're going to get the entire board. Jeff,
big family picture.
All right.
So put it there in front of the table, so it's got the names in it.
Just front chair.
It might be better, yeah.
Let's stay on the table.
Yeah.
Over,
Yeah.
okay. Just open this area.
It was Mindy's idea. Not mine, I just spoke up. You're the tall one.
Right here also.
All right.
Perfect.
Get it?
Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you know that.
Yeah, then.
Yeah. Sandy.
Mrs. Zimmerman here, take you around the building a little bit if you want to see it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Where?
I'm going to show you around the building a little bit. Bring back some
No
memories.
steps.
No, we have an elevator now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you have an elevator when you went to school?
No!
Yeah.
Wow.
We have one now. Yeah. All right. Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's right up there, it says it on the bottom.
Does bring back memories though.
Okay, getting better than that. Sorry you have to follow and act like that. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, tonight we've also got a group from Hillview PTA who are going to make a presentation regarding the project they're involved with. So if you folks could step to the podium.
I want to introduce Artie Wolfter. She's the president of Hillview PTA, and Lindsay Humphrey, vice president of Hillview PTA. I'm Dave Warner, treasurer, Hillview PTA. And we've been working on a project. Actually, we work on all kinds of projects, raising money for the school. I've given you all a packet of information of some history of things that we do and have done, but one of the things we're committed to is the physical side of education, health, physical health. And to that end, our next big project is to put a quarter-mile track in the back of the school west of the building. We have a good bit of our funding, but we want to go out and seek additional funding from grants. We want to make sure before we do that we have permission to proceed with that from the school board. So at the beginning and the end of the packet that I've given to you, we have the motion there that I have written, but I would also like to make an addendum to that. Hillview PTA respectfully requests permission to build a quarter-mile asphalt walking path with appropriate signage, benches, and landscaping on school property in the large empty field immediately west of Hillview Elementary School at 1927 Horns Hill Road, Newark, Ohio. But also to add to that Newark City Schools will maintain the track post-completion of construction.
I think it's important to note that they are working with Larry Williams to make sure it is built in a way that it's going to last. We're not taking over something that next year we're going to have to put a lot of money into.
Larry's been out to the site to see it, so we're working with him.
So the process, once they complete it, we'll have to accept it as a donation to the school. In the meantime, we need a motion from the board giving them the okay to go ahead and proceed with it. So at this point, we'd ask for a motion authorizing them to go ahead and proceed.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Do we have any discussion, questions?
The maintenance of the track, okay, would come out of the general fund?
It'll come out of permanent improvement, like buildings and our normal stuff.
What kind of maintenance would be required on a track like that?
About every 3 years, we treat the track, and so it's about a $700 expense for the district, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's kind of the rotation we're on now.
Okay, we're good.
And this is an asphalt walking track, not a rubberized
Okay.
track that the track team is going to be on.
be much more expensive. Any other questions, comments? Call the roll.
Mr. Weber moved. I
Oh, we don't have
didn't
a
hear who was second.
Yeah.
Bev? Okay. I think my hearing's going, at least wait my kids tell me it's going.
Bev beat you.
Maybe they're right. Huh?
Bev beat you by like that.
By that much? Okay. Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Nickam?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Thank you, board. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you for all your work.
Next is communications from the floor. If anybody would like to address the board, please step to the podium, with your name, your address, and you have up to 5 minutes to speak. Or we don't need 5 minutes. We will move on to treasurer's recommendations. Jeffrey?
Item 2A is approval of board meeting minutes. It is recommended the minutes of the following board meetings be approved as shown in the appendix. February 8, 2016 regular meeting, February 9, 2016 special meeting. Item 2B is approval of February 2016 financial statements and payment to the vendors. We earned the interest in amount of $9,507.27 this past month. I gave each board member a copy of our fund breakdown. The general fund is $27,080,000. Bond retirement is $1,230,000. Permanent improvement is $2,890,000. Building fund is $100,000. Food service is $1,470,000. OSSC project local is $120,000. OSSC project state share is $1,610,000. Insurance fund is $3,630,000. Classroom facilities is $2,300,000. Miscellaneous others $580,000 for a total of $41,178.20, which agrees with the bank. Item 2D or C, that should be approval of fiscal year 2016 supplemental permanent appropriation resolution. The 001 is the general fund for $29,951. That's $25,000 for the DC trip and $4,950.59 career tech for the middle school. Item 002 is the $29 million. That $29 million is for the bond refunding that will conclude tomorrow. It is closed out tomorrow. That's why we need to appropriate that tonight. 0119 is $250 for the Lady Wildcats. LCG Tucker scholarships, $2,100.27. And LCF Leaders for Learning, $500. Key Club revised budget, had more projects, $1,242. Then the state decided to reduce the auxiliary services, which is primarily the Catholic schools, by $15,462.85. That's the financial report.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion, questions? I will mention, Jeff, give you a chance to toot your own horn. This bond refinancing, this is now between the ones we have done approximately 2 years that the collection will be shortened.
Yeah, approximately 2 years. I've refinanced bonds. This is the fourth time. This last time, it saves the taxpayers about $4 million. The previous 3 times were about $3.5 million. So it's approaching close to $8 million saved by refinancing our bonds. Strictly in interest is what it is. So what that means is the tax rates would stay the same, but that $7.5 million or so will come off at the end. So the bond repayment by our taxpayers will actually be shortened by a couple of years.
We started out at 24, I think it was, and we're now down to about 22.
Yes, that's true.
Did I hear 20?
All I can do is look at it every year and see what happens to the tax rates and stuff like that, and to the interest rates.
Great. Okay, call roll, please.
Mr. Flowers?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Nickam?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Thank you.
Superintendent's recommendations.
Before I start, I'd like to also commend Jeff for bond work. It's absolutely amazing work there. So it's great for our community to see. So thanks for your leadership, Jeff. I'll start out by personnel and retirements. So I'm going to read down through a list, and this is the time of year it starts to get long. We have some people who have done some tremendous service to our district here for quite a while. First, we have Peg Dunlap, who is the principal at Hillview Elementary. Peg started out in 1994 as a teacher at Cherry Valley. When I came here 7 years ago, she was teaching math at Heritage and also the union leader here, the head of our union. Good lady. She's done a tremendous job at Hillview. We have some Hillview parents out there that would share that, replace Barb, who did a great job. So Peg carried that on and has, so Peg's a golfer, and she's already buying some drivers and some additional things so she's going to be hitting the golf ball a little bit more. But we do thank Peg for her service. We have Peg Butler, who will retire custodian 2. She was hired in 2001. I can't call her Catherine Hyman, it's Kitty Hyman to those of us who know her. Hold on to your chairs on this one. She was hired September 30th, 1975 in the district, and has served all her time as a secretary here at the administrative offices. And we're going to miss Kitty. She's a good lady and has done a very good job. She works in Barbara's office, so that position has been posted. So thank you, Kitty, for everything you've done. Rose Lewis will retire. She was hired in 1990 as a secretary in the central kitchen. Does a wonderful job there. Will retire at the end of the school year. Georgine Murphy will retire as a cashier. She was hired in 1996 and has been in food service the entire time. Edith Myers, hired in 1985 as a library aide. So we appreciate her service. Brian Pierre, she's resigning, or he's resigning. He was hired in 2014. Rebecca Underhill in Jeff's department was hired in 1986 here, and she's always worked in the treasurer's office as an account clerk. So a lot of people have served the district a lot of years who have done a fantastic job for us. So those are the retirements and resignations. Under item 3, appointments and assignments, I'll start with the addendum. We have the addendum number 1, which is personnel. I'll have Mr. Shively, please stand up. Walk up here to the podium. Mark, if you would, please. I'm not sure if you've met the entire board.
I have.
Oh, you have?
I've had a chance to meet everyone
Oh,
tonight.
good. So, Mark, we respect the fact that he is a athletic director and / unofficial assistant principal at Mount Vernon High School. And I always tell people when they're coming in here, I don't want you to burn a bridge, and I don't want to leave somebody else in distress, especially with you look outside today. Do you ever have to cancel any baseball, softball, track?
A couple times a week.
Yeah, so we respect that, Mark, the job you've done there, and we don't want to interfere with that. So we'll do 2 contracts for Mark. The first one is up to 15 days from now until August 1, and then once August 1 hits, then we'll start a new contract for 2 years. And Mark is, as I mentioned before, is replacing Dave Altepeter. And so, Mark, we're really happy to have somebody of your quality here in the district.
Well, I'm very excited about the opportunity and getting to know all of you. I know we've spent some time with a couple of you and with a couple of the other members of the cabinet here last 3 weeks here. So I'm really excited, really looking forward to a little change and a new challenge and kind of taking on a role here where we can really work with all of our people here to build a better team together. So I'm excited about that.
Mark will be working a few days during their spring break, and I didn't have, is your spring break next week or the week after?
It's the week after.
Okay,
It's
same time as
after-
ours.
Yeah, it's after Easter, so.
So Larry already called you for a day, so we got you there.
Okay, so
Well, there's,
I can do that.
yeah, thanks, Mark. for-
You're welcome.
And that's you. Yes. Also, I spent a little bit of time this morning with Todd Gallup, who is here running our cafeteria services. Just started today. And Todd has 21 years of experience at Mount Vernon Nazarene. Oh, the Mount Vernon's the theme tonight, I guess. So, Mark, I'm sure maybe you know Todd or
Possibly.
have heard of him. So, and then he went to Indiana Wesleyan and ran their kitchen for 3 years. So, has a lot of experience with food service, and it's highly recommended by the many people I spoke to about Todd. So we're excited about Todd here. Once again, Todd will be on a contract from now till August 1, and then start a new contract August 1st, a 2-year contract. So excited about Mark and Todd joining our team. Under item 8, approval of a public notice. It's recommended the Board of Education approve running a public notice for the purpose of advertising a public hearing to receive input on the issue of rehiring Jeff Petrie, who is a school psychologist who previously was employed by New York City School District in the same position. This is not a motion to hire Jeff, only to advertise that the board will be looking at doing that in the future. So, items 1 through 8.
We have a motion, please.
So moved.
I'll say.
Questions or discussion? Okay, Jeff, call the roll, please.
Mr. Flowers?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Nickam?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item B, students and curriculum. I say this every month, I know the board is well aware of this, but I want to continue to let our community know that our special education contracts with other districts, these are for students who are placed in our district by the court system as a foster child, or our students are in their district the same way, and we're required to help educate those students as they are required in our district also. Leave of absence, we have a few leaves of absence there under item 2. Assignments, oh, excuse me, that was the other one, I'm going the wrong direction. Then the other number 2. Yes, item 2, public announcement regarding Title I funding. It's recommended the following announcement be made. Newark City Schools will soon be planning for the Title I monies for the 2016-17 school year. These are federal funds used to support the education of economically disadvantaged students attending the Newark City schools. Each year, the district collects input from parents, students, staff, and community members regarding the expenditure of these monies. If you have ideas regarding the use of these funds, please send comments or inquiries to Tara Boyer via electronic email at tboyer, B-O-Y-E-R, @laca.org, or by phone 740-670-70. And item C are gifts. So we have Kohl's Department Store, $500 for the recycling program to Legend Elementary, and monetary to Newark High School for taking care of education. Energy Cooperative, $487.33. Another monetary from the Energy Cooperative, the Target Department Store did a $487, that's for Newark High School. And Energy Cooperative of $690 to Heritage Middle School for t-shirts for the STEM Fest participants.
Take a motion to approve superintendent recommendations 3, B, and C.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Flowers?
Yes.
Ms. Nickam?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, under Board of Education reports and recommendations, do we have a legislative liaison report?
No, we do not.
Intent to adopt board policies. SALT committee back at it again. I thought I'd say it. It is recommended the Board of Education announce its intent to adopt the following policies as shown in the appendix. An announcement be made of these policies will be available to the board, staff, and public for inspection from March 15, 2015 through April 11, 2016. From the SALT Committee, file 8510, Wellness. Then C, adoption of board policies, which were read last month. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt Board of Education policies listed below as shown in the appendix and as announced at the February 8, 2016 meeting of the Board of Education. Again, from the SALT Committee. Okay. File 8420, emergency evacuation of schools. File 8452, automated external defibrillators, AEDs. File 8500, food services. And file 9211, district support organizations. So we would accept a motion to approve item 4C, the policies that we just read.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ms. Nickam?
Yes.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes?
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to board discussion. Start.
Well, tomorrow's election day, voting day. Hope everybody gets out and votes. We have a levy up. And St. Patrick's Day is Thursday, as an Irish American myself. Kitty Heineman was somebody who, I used to teach in New York City schools, and Kitty Heineman was somebody, as a teacher, I knew was a very helpful and very positive person to be around, and it just, that was many years ago. So good luck to Kitty Heineman. Thanks to Hillview PTA for all you do. It's the parents, you're the backbone to what we're all about, what we do. I'd like to add one more thing, visual and performing arts, a very, very important part of our total education program here at New York City Schools. Congratulations to the bands and choirs and orchestra for all their award-winning ratings. And with that, I will pass.
Excuse me. Went to the Citizens of the Month luncheon last Friday, and it's a pleasure to see those kids receive those awards. Not only for them, but their proud parents, and in some cases their proud grandparents, and whichever family member can attend. It's kind of one of those days where, even if you're having a bad day, when you leave that function, if you're not having a better day, something's wrong with you. So one of the ladies actually told us that she works at the Columbus City Schools, and she says she's never seen anything like this. So if you ever get the opportunity, please come to those luncheons.
The SALT committee and the wellness policy was a nearly a one-year process. It was a 1 year. And I just wanted to point out that the district has a very active wellness committee, and I would like to thank the wellness committee. Those members actually reviewed the policy and made some recommendations to the SALT committee to help us out. It was one of the few policies we come across that we actually had several choices and options. Typically they come and the state says pass this policy and we say yes sir. This was one there was a lot of, I guess you would say, local control in this policy, and I do appreciate the wellness committee helping us out in making the decisions on the policy that's been now presented to the board. And the other thing I'd like to say is congratulations to Mr. Spelman. We've done this a couple of other times before, and it's one of my favorite things that we get to do as school board members, and that is to present diplomas to men that have served, men and women that have served the country and did not get a diploma because they were busy doing that. So congratulations, Mr. Spelman.
Yeah, I echo that. That's a wonderful thing to be able to get to see and be a part of. Thank you, Hillview PTA. What a wonderful addition to that part of Newark, that walking track for families to come, for years to come. That'll be a wonderful gift. Speaking of gifts, Kohl's, Target, and the Energy Cooperative, thank them all for contributing and helping. This weekend at the high school, Legally Blonde, theater production going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. It should be a fabulous time, and starting to roll out the spring sports. And so I'll be attending some middle school track meets, and I'm sure those are going to be very enjoyable, and looking forward to.
In short.
Pardon? Yeah, they're minuscule. They just, they're almost, you have to be there on time or you miss them. And but that is a wonderful thing. What's so cool is there are just a boatload of kids participating, and so that's the neatest thing. Kids are involved. They're out. They're active. They're doing something. They're making new friends. It's a great opportunity for our kids, not only in the arts with the play, but also the spring sports as well.
I'm going to step out on faith a little bit as a treasurer. I'm going to thank the citizens of Newark, hopefully, for passing or renewing our 1% income tax levy. I just want to remind them that you're not voting for me, you're not voting for Doug Ute, you're not voting for one of these 5 board members. You're voting for the 6,200 kids in Newark City Schools. And that's who all the money goes to, that's who it's going to support. So we might continue the programs that we've got going now, and hopefully if we can work it out, we'll even add more programs and do a better job for you in the future. So going out on a limb, thanking you in advance for supporting the 1% income tax renewal.
Thank you to the PTO members that we have, not only from Hillview, but around the district. And I'm watching this group tonight and their work to give our students something a little bit better at a building in hands. We could not do what we do without groups such as the fine parents and grandparents out there. And I will mention that we are fortunate in all of our buildings to have fantastic support from our parents that do a little extra. And I know I'd like to mention, because we're into March, and since August I've watched band parents and orchestra parents and athletic parents and community members, not just parents, work so hard to support those extras for our students. And that's really nice. We really appreciate all the effort and support that we do. Mark's sitting behind it. I think, Mark, you'll find the support at Newark is unbelievable. I think it's second to none that way. Tim had mentioned the participation in the middle school track, and I like to share this because I checked our numbers. Our board suspended our fees to participate. At one time it was $60 for middle school, and I think 120 or so. 165 for high school participation, and so about 4 years ago the board suspended that. And I always tell people, we had about 35 middle school track participants during that time. This year we're at 140 members that are in our middle school track program. Just that alone shows that that's well worth it to get more students out. Our high school numbers are up in the 80s, which is about 25 to 30 higher than it was in the past. I'm not sure of our wrestling numbers this winter, but boy, do we have a lot of kids out wrestling. And so your actions are making a difference for our students. So I want to thank you guys for what you do. Last week, Maura and myself and Stephanie Devilvoice we were at ODE talking to the Ohio Department of Education Board about talented and gifted programs and those type of things. And I sat in a room, for a few hours, and I watched that board, do their business. And it always amazes me that we have people in the state of Ohio step up to lead schools in the state. And as I look over here to my left, I thank you guys for your service to our district, because it's not an easy position. And I know how much time you spend that. And I would share with our community that this is a board that asks questions, the right questions, when we're talking about doing something, and are very supportive of our students and our programs here. So we don't get enough time to thank you guys for what you do. But and I can say that in the first year of a 5-year contract, and I can retire this contract, so I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm really sincere about the way I feel. I don't want anything out of it, but other than I just want to share, on behalf of well over 6,000 students and 750 staff members, and I can speak on their behalf, and we appreciate everything you do in your time, so thank you guys.
Thank you. One of the problems with being president is there's nothing new for me to say when he gets here, but I always say something anyway. I'd like to both thank and congratulate Mr. Spellman. It's one of the neatest things we get to do. And I forgot to mention to him, and hopefully he'll see this here, if he's so inclined, he's free to come back in late May, come to White Field and walk with our graduates. I think we did have a couple doing it one time several years ago. The Hillview PTA, thank you again. The support we get from our parents and our community is just amazing. Jeff mentioned the renewal of the income tax. I'd like to thank Joe Kazawa and his group that have been working in support of it. Without them, the word wouldn't get out. And it's just an important role they serve. I'm not going to mention individual winter sports, but we had a lot of winter sports, and individual athletes do really well here over the last few weeks, and they really deserve congratulations. Spring sports are starting. We've got plays, got concerts coming up. Check the calendar and get out and support our students. I'd like to thank and congratulate the retirees. Like Peg Dunlap, when I read her resignation, it's like her parents graduated or retired from Newark schools. She graduated from Newark schools. She's retiring from Newark schools. Her children graduated from Newark schools, are now working for Newark schools. It's just amazing that we've got these people working, helping our kids. And last, I'd like to welcome Mark and Todd. One thing you may not have noticed that, we've got these retirees. I first joined the board in 2007, and I think in the interim, we have had a grand total of 2 administrators leave other than by retirement. So we tend to grab a hold and not let go. So,
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
so get your heels dug in. You're going to be here a while. But anyway, welcome aboard, and I think it's going to be a great situation for both employees and the district. And with that, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned at 7:10.